হ্যালো, ম্যাডাম শুনতে পাচ্ছেন? দীপ্তা ম্যাডাম, আপনি কিছু বলুন, আপনার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে না। আপনি কি কোনো কন্টেন্ট শেয়ার করছেন? শোনা যাচ্ছে না আপনার কথা।
ম্যাডাম শুনতে পাচ্ছ? দেখো তো আমার কথা। হ্যালো, হ্যালো, গুড আফটারনুন, গুড আফটারনুন।
গুড আফটারনুন ম্যাম।
হ্যাঁ, অর্পিতা শুনতে পাচ্ছিস?
আমি আপনারটা পরিষ্কার শুনতে পাচ্ছি,
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে।
কিন্তু ম্যামেরটা শুনতে পাচ্ছিলাম না, উনি যেটুকু বলছিলেন।
আচ্ছা, দেবীপ্রসাদ এবার শোনা যাচ্ছে মনে হচ্ছে। হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ। আচ্ছা, তো অর্পিতা তোমরা তোমাদের ওই এটাকে সাউন্ড গুলোকে অফ করে দাও।
আচ্ছা
হ্যাঁ,
আচ্ছা
মানে অফ কমিয়ে রাখো, নইলে নয়েজ হবে।
আচ্ছা।
এই আমার একটা ঘড়ি দেন।
হ্যালো দেবজানি, হ্যালো দেবজানি, হ্যাঁ আমি না শেয়ার কন্টেন্ট করতে পারছি না।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, আমি করে রাখছি তাহলে।
না তুই তাহলে প্রথম স্লাইডটা দিয়ে রাখ।
ওকে।
হ্যাঁ শুনতে পেরেছেন স্যার? হ্যাঁ আপনি ঢুকতে পেরেছেন প্রফেসর? হ্যাঁ আপনি ঢুকতে পেরেছেন?
রিক্তা,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ ম্যাডাম, হ্যাঁ,
আমাকে শোনা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ, আপনাকে শোনা যাচ্ছে, শোনা যাচ্ছে। কিন্তু আমি হঠাৎ দেখছি আজকে শেয়ার কন্টেন্ট করতে পারছি না, কিছুতেই ঘুরছে আর কি। নেট বোধহয় স্লো দেখুন আমার। কজন ঢুকেছে দেখি, 87। সনদ বাবু এখনো ঢুকতে পারেননি, কিছু অসুবিধা হচ্ছে। হ্যাঁ, বলছি কি যে আমি তো শেয়ার কন্টেন্ট করতে পারছি না, এবার আমি
হ্যালো, আবার কি? হ্যালো, হ্যালো,
হ্যালো।
হ্যাঁ, আমাকে কি শোনা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ, শোনা যাচ্ছে স্যার, শোনা যাচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে। আবার তো একটু শেষে একটু কয়েকটা কথা বলার আছে, সেই জন্য একটু দেখে নিলাম যে আমাকে শোনা যাচ্ছে কিনা।
শোনা যাচ্ছে স্যার।
ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
আমার মনে হয় না যে এদের করতে পারছে বলে। ওয়েলকাম শুভাদি। হ্যালো শুভাদি।
হ্যালো
হ্যালো শুভাদি। সব প্রবলেম আছে নেটে।
হ্যালো হ্যালো দেবীবাবু আছেন?
হ্যাঁ বলুন।
হ্যাঁ বলছি আমাদের একজন স্পিকার আছেন ডক্টর সনৎ গুচাইত স্যার। তো ওনার যেহেতু উনি লিঙ্কটাকে আমরা এমনি মেল করেছি, এবার উনি করতে গেলে ওনার দেখাচ্ছে যে ওই লিঙ্কটা ওপেন হচ্ছে না, ঠিক আছে, বলছে নো লঙ্গার বলে একটা মেসেজ দিচ্ছে। মানে মিটিং ক্যান নট বি স্টার্ট ইয়েট, ইট ইজ নো লঙ্গার, এরকম একটা কোনো মেসেজ দিচ্ছে। সেটা কেন হচ্ছে?
লিঙ্কটা
হ্যাঁ
লিঙ্কটা আমি আপনাকে আবার পাঠাচ্ছি একবার চ্যাট
হ্যাঁ
বক্সে। আপনি
হ্যাঁ,
আরেকবার পাঠান।
ওনার মেল আইডিটাতে
আপনি
পাঠাতে পারবেন?
আমাকে চ্যাট বক্সে লিখে দিন মেল আইডিটা একবার।
হ্যাঁ আমি লিখে দিচ্ছি।
ম্যাডাম মেল আইডিটা দিন ম্যাডাম।
হ্যাঁ পাঠাচ্ছি। হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, বলছি একটু
স্টার্ট ভিডিও।
দেবীবাবু আমি কিন্তু আপনাকে পাঠিয়েছি, হ্যাঁ, মেসেজে।
হ্যাঁ
পেয়েছেন তো?
হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে কোথায় দিয়েছেন? কোথায় দিয়েছেন?
আমি আপনাকে চ্যাট বক্সে পাঠিয়েছি। হ্যাঁ
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে পেয়েছি ম্যাডাম।
হুম হুম।
start my video. You have a problem connecting to audio.
ম্যাডাম আমি পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছি।
হ্যাঁ, আপনি ঢুকছেন দেখছি তো। আপনাকে আবার ওটা পাঠিয়েছেন, দেবযানী আপনার সঙ্গে কথা বলছে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ। Hello, I am audible. Hello.
Yes, madam.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a cordial welcome to today's session on behalf of Department of Geography, Vivekananda College for Women. It is worthy to note that it is the second webinar in the series of geomorphology and landform organized by our department. Devjani, now I would like to introduce Devjani, next slide. Hello, next slide. Now I would like to introduce today's presenters. Dr. Shoma Bhattacharya is a distinguished geographer and has a high degree of commitment with teaching and research despite her busy administrative
হ্যালো
schedule.
ম্যাম, ম্যাম কেউ ইউটিউবটা, হ্যাঁ ম্যাম ইউটিউবটা অফ করতে বলুন।
She thus possesses an unparalleled ability of simplifying the difficult concepts of geography. Her area of special interest is geomorphology, climatology, and historical geography. Next slide. She will today present a lecture on alluvial fans in humid eastern Himalayas. Hello? Somebody's YouTube is open. Please mute it. Please. Our next speaker, Professor Shonat Kumar Guchait, is a passionate geographer. He has an ability to analyze the enormous facts of geography in a cogent manner. His special field of interest ranges from geomorphology of Rar Bengal to the issues related to poverty, ecology, and development. He will today present Portrait of Laterite on the canvas of Western Plateau Fringe of West Bengal. We would love to hear from you at the end of each presentation. A question and answer session will be on. For uh, for those of you just joining us, welcome again. We are also streaming in YouTube Live, and you may get the recorded version of the session in our college YouTube channel. So now over to Dr. Shoma Bhattacharya for her presentation on alluvial fans in humid eastern Himalayas. Madam. দেবযানী ওভার করে দাও, এটা বন্ধ করে দাও। দেবযানী স্টপ শেয়ারিং করে দাও।
করেছিস? করেছিস তুই স্টপ শেয়ারিং?
ম্যাডাম আবার শেয়ারিং হয়ে গেছে, আরেকবার স্টপ।
ভাই একটু এ করে দিয়ে যা, প্রেজেন্টেশন হোল স্ক্রিন পেজ।
ম্যাডাম F5 তাহলে হয়ে যাবে।
হ্যাঁ, প্লিজ ওয়েট। Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am going to present the present alluvial fans in South Himalayan West Bengal. On my introductory slide, you can see there are picture of two fans. One is an arid fan and the other is an humid fan. Actually, alluvial fan as a geomorphic feature is much less studied in India. And alluvial fan can be found in any type of environment. They can be found in arid or semi-arid environment. They can be found in humid environment. They can also be found in glacial or fluvio-glacial environment. What thing is needed most is a break in slope, which results in reduction in stream competency. And you can see in both the pictures, there is a sudden breaking slope from the mountain front to the plain. And this sudden breaking slope is required for the formation of alluvial fan in any environment. This is the picture of a dry fan from Ladakh area, and this is the picture of a humid fan from China. Now, alluvial fans attracted the attention of geomorphology since the exploratory survey of the American West in the late 1800s. Actually, alluvial fan is a very distinct feature in arid and semi-arid region. Therefore, most of the studies about alluvial fan has been done in the arid and semi-arid region, that is the fans in arid and semi-arid region. Therefore, when there was survey of the American West in late 1800s, it attracted the attention of the surveyors and the geomorphologists. The term alluvial fan was first coined by Drew in 1873 in reference to the features in upper Indus Basin. Now, South Himalayan West Bengal is dotted with alluvial fans of various sizes. The fans often coalesce to form a Piedmont plain or an alluvial apron. All South Himalayan fans are humid fans. All South Himalayan fans, particularly in West Bengal, are humid fans. They are dominated by perennial flow. Stream flow is the dominating depositional mode. Here you can see a part of the South Himalayan West Bengal, and here I have featured some of the alluvial fans. This is the Rokti Rohini alluvial fan. This is Chail Mal alluvial fan. This is Neura Murti alluvial fan. This is Murti Jaldhaka alluvial fan. And this is Jaldhaka Dina alluvial fan. So, excepting these, there are other alluvial fans also, as for example, the Tista mega fan and some fans in the east. But I have studied these fans elaborately, and I want to draw my conclusions from these alluvial fans only, and that conclusion will be applicable to all of the fans of the sub-Himalayan West Bengal and also all the humid fans in all over the world. You see, the Rokti Balasan Rokti Rohini fan is a patch feature, but these fans, this is the Chel River, this is the Mal River, this is the Neura River, this is the Murti River, this is the Jaldhaka River, and this is the Dina River. All these fans are located side by side, and they are forming a Piedmont plain or an alluvial apron just in front of the high Himalayas. Now, this is a panoramic view of the Darjeeling foothills, and here you can see towards this side we have the high Himalayas. In front of that we have the alluvial fan area, and after that we have the river Balason here, and after the river Balason towards the south there is the wide open North Bengal plain. So alluvial fan is a feature which lies in between the high hills and the extended plains. Now the characteristics of the alluvial fans of sub-Himalayan West Bengal. Now alluvial fans, particularly, they may be conical, they may be lobate, they may be elongated, they may be arcuate, but in case of North Bengal, that is in the sub-Himalayan part of West Bengal, most of the alluvial fans are lobate and elongated. They are elongated accumulations of sediment. They have a focus source like this. You can see the focus source. They have a focus source, and they are normally formed near the highland margin, where there is an abrupt reduction in stream competency. They resulting in huge sediment deposition. They are normally formed of coarse, poorly sorted sediments. Now, this is the highest point of an fan, which is termed as fan apex. Such fan apex are also found in all the humid fans. This is the point where the river leaves the confines of the mountain. The lower part of the fan is termed as distal fan, and where the flow is unconfined. The radial profile on the fan, that is the longitudinal profiles, they are concave, and the cross fan profiles, they are convex. Now, if we want to identify an alluvial fan from topographic sheet, we must search the convex contours like these, which are convex from the mountain front. You can see the contours here and also here and also here. This is the Murti Jaldhaka fan. This is the Balasan Rukti Rohini fan. All of these are showing a convex contour, which are convex outward from the mountain range. Now fan size. So alluvial fans vary in size. In case of, if it is an arid fan, it is very small, conical in shape, but normally humid fans are very large and low in gradient. Larger fans are lower in gradient normally. Though the size and gradient varies depending on the discharge from the rivers. That means the small rivers, they are building small fans with a higher gradient, whereas the large rivers, they are building large fans with lower gradient. The size of the fan varies from 50 square kilometer, as we have seen in Balasan Rukti Rohini fan, which is a small fan, to more than 200 square kilometer in case of all other fans like Murti Jaldhaka fan, Jaldhaka Dina fan, or chill mal fan, and so on. The fans, alluvial fans, may be even larger, which are termed as mega fan, as for example, Tista mega fan, Brahmaputra mega fan, and so on. Now, some authors use the term alluvial cone to describe small fans which are steeper than 20 to 25 degrees. They may be formed in fluvial environment or also in arid or semi-arid environment. But some authors like to use the term alluvial cone as a synonym of alluvial fan. So in the Himalayan, sub-Himalayan West Bengal, we can see some alluvial cone as well as alluvial fan, fans of large and small dimensions. Now, sub-Himalayan fans are mostly lobate and elongated, then perfectly cone-shaped, as I have already mentioned. This is partly due to climate and partly due to tectonic activity. I shall discuss it in the later part of my lecture. Now I just want to explain the elongated shape of the alluvial fans. Now, the elongation ratio of alluvial fans has been calculated. This has been calculated following the formula of Sturm for the calculation of basin elongation ratio, where according to Sturm, lower the value of the ratio, the greater is the elongated character of the basin. And this has been applied on the alluvial fan, and the lesser the value than 1, the greater the elongation of the fans. Now you can see the calculated elongation ratio following this formula of Sturm. You see the basin elongation, the alluvial fan elongation ratio, the Balasan Rokti Rohini fan. In case of Balasan Rokti Rohini fan, it is 0.58. In case of Chail Mal fan, it is 0.53. In case of Neura Murti fan, it is 0.46. In case of Murti Jaldhaka fan, it is 0.39. And case of Jaldhaka Dyna fan, it is 0.52. So in most of the cases, we see that the elongation ratio is nearing or less than 5. Therefore, it can be concluded that the fans are highly elongated. Now, elongation ratio has also been calculated in respect of an ellipse. And here you can see the formula used to calculate the elongation ratio in respect of an ellipse, where EF is the elongation ratio, A is the fan area, and LB is the long axis. In case of ellipse, if it is 0, if the ratio is 0, then it is a circle, and if it is 1, then it is ellipse to infinite. And you can see the calculated elongation ratio, which are almost approaching 1. Therefore, we can conclude that the fans are highly elongated. You can see that the ratios are like these: 0.94, 0.96, 0.98, 0.99, 0.96. So the fans, we can conclude that the fans are highly elongated. Now, I have used fan conicality index. Fan conicality index can be used to identify the tectonic influence on alluvial fans and to determine the shape of the alluvial fans. This fan conicality index has been introduced by Professor A.B. Mukherjee of Punjab University in 1990. According to him, fan conicality index can be calculated using the following equation, that is area of the actual fan divided by area of the equivalent ideal fan. If fan conicality index is less than 1, the fans are longer, narrower, and would be expected from a strictly circular segment. They are also tectonically active fans. The calculated FCI for the fans I have studied are Balasan Rokti Rohini fan is 0.20, Chelmal fan is 0.19, Nevra Murti fan is 0.20, Murti Jaldhaka fan is 0.098, and Jaldhaka Dyna fan is 0.20. Therefore, the calculated HCI for all the fans elongation from the ideal, and it also can be proved that they are tectonically active. Now, fan entrenchment. This is another important criteria of alluvial fans. Alluvial fans are normally entrenched and the entrenchment is higher at the upper part of the fan, which is termed as fan head trenching. Trenching is generally deepest near the apex, and there is a progressive decrease in the entrenchment in the down fan direction. Trenching at fan head indicates progressive sedimentation downfield, and as the locus of sedimentation shifts, you can see here, this is the first stage of alluvial fan formation, and the locus of deposition is here. And in the step 2, you can see that the main river has get entrenched, and as it has been entrenched, the materials from this part is being transported to this part, and the locus of deposition is shifted from this point to this point, and this is also called fan segmentation, and this part of the fan is termed as young fan, old fan, abundant fan, this upper part, abundant fan, old fan, and this part, a dead fan also, and this part which has been formed or under the process of forming is termed as the young fan and the new fan, and so on. Now, tension is normally formed due to tectonic activity and also due to climate, particularly the past climate, change in past climate. This will be discussed in the later part of my lecture. Now you can see here a fan head trenching. You can see the Himalayas here. The talus cone is also very prominent here. And this is the fan surface with a very distinct downward decrease in the entrenchment. This is the entrenched Rohini River, and this is the picture of Balason Rohini fan. Now, the degree of entrenchment and fan thickening depend on stream channel downcutting and the rate of uplift. If the downcutting is greater than the rate of uplift, then deep fan head trenching occurs. But if the rate of uplift is greater than downcutting, then fan head thickening occurs. The same thing occurs when there is a cease or decrease in the rate of tectonic movement takes place. That means there is fan head trenching. Trenching and shifting of locus of deposition is associated with tectonic movements. Now, entrenchment results in the formation of terraces parallel to the river. The terraces are normally unpaired due to channel braiding and uneven erosion on either side of the river bank. Amount of incision varies from 90 meter to 30 meter, even at places which is more than 90 meter. The amount of incision depends on the tectonic activity as well as the capacity of the river. You can see here 3 pictures. This is in the upper part of the fan. You can see the high entrenched basin. The entrenchment is very high, and you can see the cross section across the upper fan, upper alluvial fan, and you can see the degree of entrenchment of the rivers. This is the picture from the middle fan, and this field photograph shows that in the middle fan, the degree of entrenchment is lower, and you can see also from these cross sections that the degree of entrenchment is comparatively lower compared to that of the upper fan. And this is a field photograph of the distal fan, and you can see in the distal fan there is no entrenchment, and you can see the cross sections, they are almost flat. So again, we can conclude that the entrenchment or river incision gradually decreases in the downward direction. This is a field photograph of the Murti Jwaldhaka fan. You can see the terraces which have been formed on either side of the river, and you can see that this braiding is responsible for erosion, uneven erosion in one bank rather than the other. Therefore, at one part the terraces are steep, and the other part there are terrace levels, and 3 terrace levels are normally found in this area, excepting a seasonal terrace on the riverbed. Now, fan slope decreases with increasing fan and drainage basin size. As if the fan is large, then obviously fan slope decreases. Cook concluded that fans from small discharge have steeper slopes than fans produced by large discharge. That means large fans have gentle slope, whereas small fans have steep slopes. The larger the fan, gentler is the slope or fall from the apex to distal part. You see, in case of Balasan Rukti Rohini fan, which is a comparatively small fan of about 50 square kilometer area, the fall is 19.92 meter per kilometer. Whereas in case of Nevra Murti fan, which is the largest fan of our study, is covering an area of 278 square kilometer. Here the fall per kilometer is 7.46 meter. So again, we can conclude that larger the fan, gentler the fan slope, and smaller the fan, steeper the fan slope. Now, controls of fan development. Now, alluvial fans are developed under certain conditions, and some factors control the development of fan size, fan shape, fan entrenchment, fan slope, fan sedimentation, etc. Now, what are those factors? First of all is the geological and tectonic characteristics, including the lithology of the source area, then the relief, then climate and hydrology. Coming to our first factor, a controlling factor, that is geological and tectonic settings of the region, we can see that fans are normally numerous in tectonically active areas, and I have already told that tectonic activity influences development of fan entrenchment, segmentation, shape, and thickness of fan material. But the material, fan material influences the size, shape, and slope of alluvial fans. As for example, if the fan material is coming from the source rock of shale or sandstone or other soft rocks, the fans are normally gentler in size, gentler in slope. But if they are composed of materials like quartzite, hard materials like quartzite, granite, etc., then the fans are steeper in slope. Therefore, the study of local lithology, particularly the lithology of the source area from where the fan materials are coming, is very important. The surrounding area of the fans of the South Himalayan West Bengal is composed of Darjeeling gneiss and rocks of Darling series. The important rocks here are gneiss, phyllite, and micaceous. All the rocks are highly weathered and the hill slopes are precipitous. Now, you can see the characteristics of the rocks of which the alluvial fan is normally built. The gneiss of the source area is coarse-grained gneiss, and the predominant banding is dark and light color banding. The light color banding is necessarily white, and this white banding indicates the presence of plagioclase feldspar, which is thicker in composition than orthoclase feldspar. The other two important rocks are phyllite and schistose rocks. They normally have distinct cleavage and foliation, which are responsible for their weathering under a very humid climate. More than this, the chemical composition of these rocks also helps in weathering, fast weathering. Now, we know this Himalayas receives a very high rainfall and high temperature. This high rainfall and high temperature is responsible for high amount of chemical weathering, particularly hydration and hydrolysis. And these rocks, then belite the micases, they are weathered so much as soil, even to the to like soil. Now, the physical weathering, actually, this part of the Himalayas is also covered with dense vegetation. Therefore, we can have the biophysical and biochemical weathering also, which is responsible for highly weathered rocks. And these highly weathered rocks are forming the fan material. As a result, the fans are low wind gradient eroded because the eroded materials, which are almost like soil, with big boulders in between, boulders, pebbles, and pebbles, and in between, they spread easily, and the forms are large in size, low grade. Now, relief of the region. Relief plays a very important dominating role in the formation of alluvial fan. As a dominant, as I have already mentioned, a dominant break-off slope is necessary for the formation of alluvial fan to reduce the stream competency, leading to deposition of fan material. Now, এই শব্দ হচ্ছে কেন রে? Now, according to Basu, the primary condition for the formation of fans at the base of the mountain is a sudden change of slope, where the emerging stream becomes unconfined and the hydraulic condition requires deposition of sediments being transported. There is a distinct break-off slope in this region. An altitude of 800 meters separates the mountain section from the footing section. And this distinct break-off slope is mainly due to the underthrusting of the Shivalik rocks below the older rocks, which is responsible for this sharp break. This is a phenomena which is termed as Shivalik gap. This is also termed as relief thrust. And you can see a field photograph here. I am not clear that whether the picture is clear to you. You can see this is the quaternary sediments. You can see these are unsorted deposits of quaternary sediments, and here you can see the Darjeeling gneiss. You can see the banding of the gneiss, which is very prominent from this photograph. So this is very clear that the Shivaliks are absent in this region, and this absence of Shivalik is known as Shivalik gap. And this absence of Shivalik is also responsible for a distinct break in slope. And this break in slope is the main cause for the formation of a quite good number of alluvial fan or coalesced alluvial fan at the base of the South Himalayan West Bengal. Now, the climate is also important for the formation of important controlling factor for the formation of the alluvial fans. Here we can see a climate which is with high rainfall and strong seasonal concentration is one of the most important controls of fan development. Climatic change induces variability in the magnitude of the fluvial process, which in turn influences the development of alluvial fans and alluvial fan features. Both present and past climate plays a dominant role in the development of the alluvial fans. Now, the last controlling factor behind the formation of the alluvial fans is the hydrology. As I have already mentioned to you, that an abrupt reduction in stream competency is required for the accumulation of the sediment to form the alluvial fans. Now, this abrupt reduction in competency occurs due to three factors. Number one is falling gradient. A sharp falling gradient results in an abrupt reduction in stream competency. The second factor is fan surface and trunk stream. Over the fan surface, the trunk stream feeds distributary channels, and as a result, the water discharge diminishes along the course of the channels. Therefore, this leads again to further deposition. Additional discharge loss occurs due to infiltration through the relatively permeable sediments, which again increases further sedimentation. Now, these are the factors which are responsible for the formation of the alluvial fans. Now, coming to the development of fans. So, there are two theories regarding the development of alluvial fans. One is influence of climate, and the other is influence of tectonic activity. Lustig believed in 1965. He is a believer of the influence of climate on the formation of the alluvial fans. He believed that fan aggregation occurs regardless of climatic regime. During wet periods, aggradations take place within the drainage basin and below the mountain front. During dry period, drenching occurs in the upper part of the fan. Fans may also be relict features from different climatic conditions. We can see the diagram here. This is the first formed alluvial fan. Now, during a cold, humid or pluvial period, the first formed alluvial fan. Now, during the subsequent dry period, the entrenchment occurs in the upper part of the fan and the fan materials being reworked, and sedimentation results in sedimentation exceeding the limit of the older fan. As I have already told you, this is a feature which is termed as fan segmentation. This part then becomes the old or relict fan. This part where you can find trenching becomes the old fan or the relict fan, and this is the new fan which is being produced. Now, Betty in Lustig is a believer of the influence of climate. Similarly, Betty is a believer in the influence of tectonic affluent. According to him, fans may form in any environment, but they are especially prominent in areas of tectonic affluent where there is a continual supply of fresh debris from tectonically active mountain front. Tectonic activity influences fan entrenchment, fan segmentation, sedimentology, and fan progradation. This is very important, fan progradation. That means the fan is active. Now, you can see here again, there are two diagrams. This is the first step showing the first form alluvial fan, and this is the condition of the fan in response to tectonic activity. We can see the fan head trenching and the sedimentation in the lower part of the fan, which has resulted in shift of locus of sedimentation from this point to this point. This results in fan segmentation, as I have already mentioned. Now, in the Himalayas, what happens? We know that Pleistocene ice age has played an important role in the formation of the alluvial fans in this region. Now, ice age occurred nearly 1 million years ago. Higher parts of the Darjeeling Himalayas suffered from glacial and periglacial climate, which is followed by a cold pluvial climate. This resulted in the production of great volume of periglacial debris, sand, and solifluction material, which during the cold pluvial climate and after that under the ice melt water came and deposited at the base of the mountains, which eventually deposited at the base of the mountains. and formed coalesced alluvial fan. Presently, the area experiences a very hot and humid climate. The average annual rainfall is 450 to 500 centimeters with a strong seasonal distribution. This huge rainfall plays an important role in monitoring the hydrological characteristics over the fan, and they also influence fan progression and reworking of the fan. Now, coming to the tectonic activity. All of you know that understressing of the Indian plate below the Tibetan plate is responsible for the formation of the mighty Himalayas. You can see the subduction of the Indian plate and the folds and laps directed to the converging plates. We know that undertrusting is still going on, and according to Valia, the rate of undertrusting is 5.5 centimeter annually. This results in the accumulation of strain, and release of these accumulated strain results in the southward migration of the Himalayan fold and thrust belt and reactivation of the existing thrust planes, such as the main central thrust, the main boundary thrust, and the Himalayan frontal faults. Now, so we can conclude that the alluvial fans of the South Himalayan West Bengal had been formed both under the influence of climate and under the influence of tectonic activity. And for this reason, the fans are so attractive features in the South Himalayan West Bengal. They are large and they are progressive. Now, what is the progression? And the progression actually been identified from an upward coarsening sequence. Now, what is upward coarsening sequence? Upward coarsening sequence shows that the lower part is formed of finer material, and as we progressively go up, the size of the materials are larger. Why this occurs? Now, along the mountain front, the fan materials are coming in, and the larger materials, obviously, they are deposited near the source area, and progressively finer materials are deposited further away. Now, due to tectonic activity, when such mountain fronts are uplifted, these fan materials, they get a steeper slope, and the deposition of the larger materials comes downward, and the final materials are deposited further downward. And as a result, we can see such a sequence which is termed as upward coarsening sequence, where we have the final materials at down and progressively larger materials upward. You can see the field photograph here. Here we have the finer materials, progressively larger materials, and you can see the largest materials, big boulders in the upper part of the sequence, sedimentary sequence. Now the fan forming processes. Now fans are actually formed by certain processes, and these processes can be distinguished, and four important processes can be distinguished. First of all is stream channel sediment. These deposits occur. The deposits that backfill stream channels temporarily entrenched into a fan. We know over the fan, distributary channels are normally change their location, comes to a new position, and the old channel is covered up or filled up, and such process going on. Such process normally goes on over the alluvial fan. Generally, as a result, these deposits are coarser grained and more poorly sorted, as they are the river deposits over the river. Now, they are deposited by the networks of braided distributary channels, as I have mentioned already. The thickness of individual beds ranges from less than 1 inch to more than 5 feet, but bed thickness of 2 inches to 2 feet, most common. You can see two field photographs of stream channel sediments. You can see the coarseness of the sediment in both the photographs, and you can see a very thin bedding here, and the thickness of the beds varying from 2 centimeters to 2 feet or even larger than that. So, the second fan formation process is sheet flat sediments. Sheets of sediments are deposited by surges of sediment-laden water, which occurs normally during flood situation, when the flow is unconfined and the entire river bed is covered with the flow with flood water. Now, this deposition is caused by widening of the flow into shallow bands or sheets of water. Now, depths of water generally are less than a foot. Now, the resulting deposit commonly is a sheet-like deposit of sand and gravel. The deposit commonly consists of gravel, sand, or silt that contains little visible clay. In general, they are well sorted and may be cross-bedded and lamination. They may be laminated also. Lamination can also see, and they can be also massive. Now, this is the sheet flat sediment, and you can see the deposition in a laminar form of the materials, and these alternate bands are normally shows the alternate flood and lean season deposits. Now, sheaf deposits. Sheaf deposits is a deposit which is a deposit of lobes of gravels, and these lobes of gravels are normally deposited over the permeable fan area due to the infiltration of the flood discharge. And as a result, the gravels uh, they are they are left over the fan surface. They act as a strainers on sheets, permitting water and fine sediments to pass while holding back the coarse material. We can see the field photograph of sheet deposits, and we can see also the gaps where the pebbles are just lying over the pebbles, and there is no feelers in between because all the fine sediments are being infiltrated with water, the downward infiltration of the fine sediments. Now, the debris flow deposit, when a flow incorporates sufficient sediment, that flow behaves like a plastic. Debris flow have high density and viscosity compared to stream flows. Debris flow deposits are poorly sorted. They have low bed tanks extending from sheet-like deposits, have well-defined margins, and they are capable of transporting large boulders weighing many tons. You can see the field photograph of debris flow deposits are the huge boulders with the deposits. Now, I want to just mention a mapping, geomorphological mapping over a fan. If we draw the cross-section, particularly longitudinal cross-section over a fan, this longitudinal cross-section normally show certain breaks along a fan surface. These are the cross-sections of a Rohini fan, and you can see these are the high mountains. This is the talus cone. This is the upper fan, middle fan, and lower fan. Each of them is separated by a break in slope. And here also you can see the mountains, the upper fan, the middle fan, and the lower fan. Here also. Now, depending on this, a geomorphological map can be produced in fan area, alluvial fan area, and the area can be divided into 4 parts, including the talus cone deposits, then the upper part, middle part, and lower part. And this is very surprising that all these parts, they show a quite good variation in slope, in fan material, in fan entrenchment, and so on. This is the case of the fan of Rokti Rohini, Balasan Rokti Rohini fan. Now I am giving another example of the Jail Mal fan and the Murti Jwaldhaka fan. You can see here the breaking slopes. Here, this is the telescope. Then we have the upper fan, the middle fan, and the lower fan. Here also, we can see the upper fan, the middle fan, and the lower fan. And these fans, as I have already mentioned, if they are if diagrams are shown of this upper, middle, and lower part of the fan, there are they possess distinct characteristics, and geomorphological maps can be easily prepared from these differences. Now, coming to the conclusion, I just want to mention that alluvial fans is a very distinctive feature, particularly in the South Himalayan, West Bengal, as here we have both the influence of tectonic activity and climate. Therefore, fans are numerous, and they are so numerous that in most of the cases they coalesce together to form an alluvial apple or an Piedmont plain. Now, again, I want to say another important thing that I have here discussed the characteristics of humid fan, and these characteristics are more or less same in other humid fans of other parts of the world. I think I have told you, and thank you all. I want to conclude my lecture here.
Thank you, madam. I'm audible?
Yes.
Thank you, madam. It again proves that you are an ardent geographer, and your busy administrative schedule cannot hamper your interest in geography. Somebody has opened his YouTube link. Please mute it. And there are 4 questions we are seeing in the chat box. First question is from Tiyasha Jana. Hello, Devi. Devi. Hello.
Yes,
হ্যালো
madam.
দেবী, ম্যাডামকে একটু করে দাও, ম্যাডামকে দেখাও একটু, আর তিয়াশা জানাকে একটু খুলে দাও। What are the differences between dry and wet alluvial fans? This is the first question from Tiyasha Jana, a student of PG 4th Sem Geography of Vivekananda College for Women.
আচ্ছা, আমি কি আবার শেয়ার করতে পারবো? একটু শেয়ার করে
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ করতে পারবেন।
এটা তো মাইক্রোসফট অফিস। Yasha, I have already mentioned in several times the difference between dry fan and wet fan. You just look at these 2 pictures here. You will be able to easily, the difference between the dry fan and wet fan is easily understandable from these 2 pictures and also from the pictures I have shown in my lecture. You see here, I just want to mention first the difference of the wet fan and dry fan. You see the dry fans, they are actually smaller in size, and as they are small in size, their slope is very steep, whereas the humid fans, they are larger in size and they are therefore they are gentler. First difference. Second difference is that fan head trenching both occurs in dry fan and wet fan. The trenching is of less length. Actually, Trenching is not less in depth, but less in length in case of the dry fan because they are smaller in area. Whereas in case of humid fan, which are very large, the trenching extends up to several kilometers from the apex of the fan. Next question.
Western Himalayas.
No, actually, in Western Himalayas, the fans are mostly, they are not humid fans. In Western Himalayas, fans are found in Karakoram area, in Tibet area, in Western Himalayas, in the Manali, but in the Middle Himalayas, they are common. But in Western Himalayas, where there is lesser rainfall, the fans are arid fans. They are not the humid fans. Fans are found because there is a sharp breaking slope.
Next question is from Professor Mary Vishwas of President's University. Role of MBT and MFT on alluvial fans of the area.
Actually, the reactivation of such faults, as I have already mentioned, they are responsible for the activity, for the tectonic activity of these regions, and the rivers, they get rejuvenated due to change in slope due to tectonic activity. And these rejuvenated rivers are responsible for fan thickening, for fan entrenchment, and for fan segmentation. The last question, I think, is there any evidence of fluvial activity from mid to lower Himalayas?
Veda Sujjal Mundal.
Mid to lower Himalayas? The question is not clear. Will you repeat?
Professor Mondol?
Okay, I have understood. I have understood the question. Actually, I have already mentioned that fans are common in any environment. They can be found in arid or semi-arid region, they are found in humid region, they are found in glacial or fluvio-glacial environment. So in any part of the Himalayas, they can be found, but one condition which is required, that is there is a sharp breaking slope, there must be a sharp breaking slope, which is responsible for a sharp reduction in the competency of the flow.
And the last question is from Ujjal Deep Shaha. Where is the question?
Obviously, yes, I have seen it. Is there any relationship between Himalayan reentrant and development of alluvial fans? Alluvial fans. Actually, obviously, reentrants play a very important role because reentrant means where the mountain front recedes back. And when they recedes back, they give a place where the sediments can be accumulated safely and they are not eroded away. Therefore, reentrance plays a very important role for fan formation and particularly fan coalescence. I think I have finished all the questions.
There are no, yes, madam, there are no more questions. Thank you again for your excellent presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you all for your patience hearing.
Now we have to wait for 10 minutes for our next speaker. He is about to join. There are some technical problems in his connections. দেবযানী ওই প্রথম স্লাইডটা দিয়ে দাও। Hello, our audience. Please bear with us. Professor Shanoj Guchait will join us shortly. He has some technical problems in his connection. Please bear with us.
স্মার্টে ল্যাপটপটা চালানো হচ্ছে, জাস্ট ওয়েট ফর 5 মিনিটস, আমি দেখে নিচ্ছি আপনার।
বলছিলাম আপনি যদি একটু পাঠিয়ে দিতেন তাহলে দেবযানী এক্ষুনি শেয়ার করে দিত। আপনি একটু মেলে পাঠান না।
আমার থেকে হবে না বোধহয়।
হ্যালো,
হ্যালো, শোনা যাচ্ছে স্যার?
হ্যালো,
শুনতে পাচ্ছেন স্যার?
হ্যাঁ শোনা যাচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, আপনার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে। ম্যাডাম বলুন, দীপ্তা ম্যাডাম বলুন, আপনি স্যার।
হ্যাঁ দেখছি আমি, হচ্ছে না আমার শেয়ার কন্টেন্টটা, হচ্ছে না আমার শেয়ার কন্টেন্টটা, অসুবিধা হচ্ছে বলছি না। তুই
এই তো হয়েছে স্যার, ম্যাডাম হয়েছে ম্যাডাম।
কাটটা হয়েছে?
আপনারটাই হয়েছে।
আমারটা শেয়ার হয়েছে? আমি তো কিছু
আপনারটা
দেখতে
হয়েছে।
আমি কিছু দেখতে পাচ্ছি না।
আপনার স্ক্রিনটা দেখুন, মিনিমাইজ করুন, আপনি করেছেন। আপনি ওখান থেকে স্ক্রিনটাকে,
হ্যাঁ এবার আমি
আপনার একটা ওয়ার্ড খোলা আছে, ওয়ার্ড খোলা আছে।
হ্যাঁ ওয়ার্ড খোলা আছে। না আমি তাহলে স্যারেরটা ডাউনলোড করে স্যারেরটা আমি চালাচ্ছি তাহলে।
হ্যাঁ তাই করুন, তাই করুন।
হ্যাঁ তাই করতে হবে, কারণ হ্যাঁ দেখতে পাচ্ছ তোমরা একটা স্লাইড শো এসেছে? হ্যালো, স্লাইড শো এসেছে কি? হ্যালো,
না
ম্যাডাম দাঁড়ান, একবার দাঁড়ান, একবার দাঁড়ান। আপনার এবারে
একটা স্লাইড
এখন আসেনি।
একটা স্লাইড শো কি এসেছে?
আসেনি ম্যাডাম, কিছুই দেখা যাচ্ছে না।
দেখা যাচ্ছে না।
এক মিনিট, এক মিনিট, এক মিনিট
একটু ওয়েট করুন। হ্যাঁ
এবার কন্টেন্ট করুন ম্যাডাম।
এবার করব, আচ্ছা দাঁড়াও। এবার কি দেখা যাচ্ছে?
শেয়ার করুন।
হ্যালো, হ্যাঁ শেয়ার
স্ক্রিন ওয়ান এবার দেখা যাচ্ছে।
দেখা যাচ্ছে? স্লাইড শো এসেছে?
হ্যাঁ এবার দেখা যাচ্ছে।
ইয়েস ম্যাম, দেখা যাচ্ছে আপনাকে।
না আমাকে না,
মানে আপনার
স্লাইড
স্লাইড,
দেখা যাচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ স্লাইড দেখা যাচ্ছে।
আমার স্লাইড না, স্যারের স্লাইড এবার। হ্যাঁ তাহলে হ্যালো স্যার, আপনি শুরু করুন তাহলে। হ্যালো স্যার। হ্যালো স্যার।
স্যার আপনি আনমিউট করুন, আপনি আনমিউট করুন স্যার। হয়েছে, হ্যাঁ বলুন।
হ্যাঁ স্যার শুরু করুন, আমাকে খালি নেক্সট বলবেন। হ্যালো হ্যালো।
স্যারের কথা আসছে না ম্যাডাম।
একটু আগে কিন্তু স্যারের কথা আসছিল। হ্যালো স্যার।
ম্যাম অডিওটা স্যারের অন হয়নি বোধহয়।
হ্যাঁ স্যার আপনি এবার বলুন, অডিওটা অন হয়নি। অডিও
অন আছে স্যার, অডিও অন আছে।
আনমিউট করতে।
হ্যাঁ আপনি এবার বলুন, আমি তো স্ক্রিনে দিয়ে দিয়েছি আপনার এটা। আপনি এবার, আপনি কি স্মার্টফোন থেকেই বলবেন? হ্যালো
Hello, hello.
আমরা শুনতে পাচ্ছি।
Am I audible now? Hello, am
Yes,
I
sir.
audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Technological hazard. After a long time, so privileged me to share my views about the laterites and badlands of Western Plateau fringe of West Bengal. First of all, I want to convey my thanks to the organizer, principal of Vivekananda College, and other teachers who have organized this webinar, and other viewers also in this webinar. So, my topic is basically portraying the laterite on the canvas of Western Plateau fringe of West Bengal, genesis, characteristics, and landscape. And I am going to the next slide. That's laterites. The term laterites was actually, it was for the first time identified by Buchanan. And we have lost more than 200 years after this nomenclature. And for 200 years, the research has been carried out on laterites and the badlands throughout the India. And it is quite impossible to travel India without observing laterite. But apart from these 200 years of observation and research, the momentary development of research has gained its popularity from 1960s onwards. And so the intensive research on laterites and on badland topography is only about 50 years of age. And so many, that means the foreigners, have contributed laterites, Indian laterites, and also the Indians. This laterite and the badland research, though it has been extensively studied, but the point is that there are some confusions, and yet some areas seems to be undiscovered. And going to the next slide, Ada. As I am not actually controlling this in a direct mode, so I have to consider the utterances like the next slide. So this confusion actually considers basically the genesis, distribution, geological age, surface profiling, and the present day lateralization process. Actually, I will try to concentrate on the main points: the genesis of laterites, the profile of laterites, and the laterites and the badlands of West Bengal, with the glimpses of, that means, the Birbhum area and the Gorbeta area. Because the Gorbeta, especially that means the Lalgod area and the Gorbeta area, there is some, that means the ravines and the for which actually it has created some separate type of region which is not found in other parts of the India. Now the point is that in simple term, going to the next slide, in the simple term, consider that laterites basically are the ferruginous rocks. Laterites basically are the ferruginous rocks, which are basically composed of different types of weathered material, from the hematite, goethite, limonite, and all those things. Now, those actually weathered material, which we are observing basically in the peninsular India, it has not been formed, that means of recent origin. And on the basis of that, basically, if we discuss the evolution of laterite, if we discuss the formation of laterites of West Bengal and its distribution over the West Bengal, that means we can classify the laterite into two types. That is the primary laterite and the secondary laterite. Coming to the next slide, please. So the primary laterites have its origin. Primary laterites have its origin not of the recent time. It basically dates back to, that means, the Cenozoic era. So while we are considering that means the laterite formation, the primary laterite, that means while the first parent material was transformed into the lateritic rock, it was formed in the Cenozoic era, basically in the Eocene-Miocene period. While the laterites which are basically found in the West Bengal, those are basically the secondary laterites. Those secondary laterites are actually derived from the primary laterites after deep weathering and the transportation, and actually deep weathered material from the primary laterites, which have its origin basically from the Miocene age. In most of the areas of West Bengal, the laterites which we are actually try to observe, those are basically secondary laterites. But the primary laterites are also there, which are actually covered underneath the surface. And basically the gneissic materials and the basaltic trough of Chodnagpur area, of the Rajmahal area, all those areas, normally the primary laterites are eroded and transported, which are deposited on the shelf zone of the Bengal basin, basically in between the Chodnagpur Foothill Falls, and the Minnapur Faraka Fall. By the transported by the rivers Mayuraki, Brahmani, Damodar, Darukeshwar, Subonareka, and all those rivers. Coming to the next slide. Once again, coming to the next slide. Into the next slide. Hello. Next.
Sir,
Yeah. Go to the next slide, because otherwise the laterite profile, if we consider first of all that this ferruginous material of laterite, whether it is primary or it is the secondary laterite, normally three distinct layers. First layer that is more prominent at the upper part of the surface, that is basically known as the hard pan. This is known as the hard pan of the Dewey cast. And the second layer that is found on the laterite below that means the hard pan, that is known as the mottle zone. And the third layer seems to be that means the that is the lithomarge. The lithomarge actually occurs above the parent rock bodies. And these three distinct, apart from the three distinct layers, it may be that some gritty layers are normally found basically for the secondary laterite. And if we consider the primary laterite, these three zones seems to be normally observed. Next, coming to the next slide, I will go to the first of all, that means the profile description and the characteristics, and thereafter the genesis. Okay, now coming into this laterite profile, if we consider the laterite profile, the black rounded patches seems to be the gritty layer, and thereafter the ferricate formation, which is known as the hard pan, that is basically the surface horizon. The middle horizon is known as the mottle zone, and the next horizon seems to be the lithomarge. And the lithomarge actually occurs above the parent saprolite and the parent rock bodies. The most interesting point is that all types of rocks, either igneous or the sedimentary or the metamorphic rocks, especially the basaltic igneous rocks and the gneissic rocks, which are normally found in India, peninsular India, those with that of the climatic influence is transformed into ferruginous rocks. So all types of rocks under, that means the climatic consideration of wet and dry climate, monsoon climate, normally transform to some ferruginous rocks, where normally the silica is actually leached downward and the ferricate is actually developed at the top surface. So how these actually form, that is the point of research, and that is still the confusion also. Why the iron concentration seems to be high at the surface of the laterite, while it is going to decrease towards the mottle zone, and while it actually once again decays towards the lithomarge zone, that means the third zone of the laterite profile. At the same time, if we consider the silica, which is normally found in huge amount in the earth's surface, if we take the consideration of the mineral content of most of the rocks, on an average, 47% seems to be oxygen, 27% seems to be steel, 8% seems to be the aluminium, 5% seems to be the other materials are there. So the silica and the oxygen constitutes about 75% of the mineral composition. But in the laterite, normally silica actually goes downward, and concentration of iron and aluminium seems to be more in the upper zone. So if we look at that means the iron concentration, so it is around that means the 40% in the surface zone, while in the lithomer zone it comes to around 10%. If we consider the silica, it is normally around 10% into the surface zone, and it decreases to that of the increases to the lithomer zone about 60%. And for the aluminium, it is close to that of the iron. That means at the surface zone it is 30%, and at the base it is around 10%. So why does it occur? Is the climatic process identified? That means the laterite additional soil. That is the confusion. Still, some of it has been discovered and some of it has not been discovered. The point is that here I will concentrate some parts of the that means the chemical reactions for which the intensive formation of the concentration of iron aluminium complex is developed at the top, and the silica seems to increase towards the lower, that means the downward surface. There are so many opinions, but the main point is that if we look at the that means the elements, it is associated, that means its chemical composition is associated to of two things. That means the chemical complex is influenced by two factors. One seems to be the atomic radius, and another seems to be the ionic power or the valency. So in that particular context, the silica, that means those elements which have least, that means the atomic radius, those have the least atomic radius in the anhydrated condition, those are transformed into that of the hydrated condition, the more atomic radius. And if it is the more atomic radius, so normally the distance from one atom to another atom will be increased, and in that consideration it will not be readily reactive. Whereas other elements which have more atomic radius in the anhydrated condition or the dry condition, those in the hydrated condition or the wet condition, normally the hydrated radius is not extended so much. So normally elements like the iron, like the aluminium, those have the higher, that means the atomic radius in the anhydrated condition or the dry condition. So in the wet condition, those normally transform into, that means the with the higher hydrated radius, lower hydrated radius, and normally those are associated with the oxygen and considered in terms of